What's good, y'all? It's your boy Zoe, and I'm back. And today we got the most glazed characters of all time, part two. Hey, the first one did pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. The first video did pretty good at the part one. So yeah, I'm really excited to see who he got in this episode, I guess. So yeah, let's get into this. Sub goal, y'all see it up there. Where's my hand? Sub goal up here, man. Sub up if you're new. Join the gang. Talk again. Now let's get into this, man. I want to see who he got on this, y'all.
Okay, so in the last video, we went through a couple characters that get glazed a bit too much, and I asked if y'all wanted a part 2, and a bunch of y'all said yes, because I most definitely missed some of the main offenders. So in this video, I'm going to try and tie up as many loose ends as possible and talk about some more of the most glazed characters of all time. First off, I want to talk about some honorable mentions, which are characters that I don't really think deserve to be here, but are glazed enough to talk about them. One of them being Thorfinn, more specifically, the I have no enemies mindset, which essentially culminates
Thorfinn. I'm not really into villain saga too much, so Thorfinn get a pass
realizing
from
that
me.
this Viking life of unaliving people and searching for revenge was not really going anywhere good, so there was truly no reason to have enemies at that point. It's a very good mindset and it inspired a lot of positivity, but in my opinion, there were two key problems when this movement was going on. First off, a lot of people were dragging how revolutionary this mindset was in fiction. Like, it's crazy. If you only listened to his fans, you would have thought that Thorfinn was the first character who was looking for peace in his life and wanted to avoid having enemies. Like, we haven't seen that before. Thorfinn did it differently for sure, but someone like Naruto is one of the first people that pops into my mind when I think of not wanting / having enemies. The other half of the time, people wouldn't even follow the mindset. They'll yap about having no enemies, then an hour later, get on the game shouting the most foul rhetoric of all time.
Your life is nothing. You serve zero purpose. You should kill.
One of the other characters that I wanted to briefly mention is Guts, who isn't glazed like other characters. I think it's just that nowadays, Berserk is becoming more mainstream, so people are starting to do more Berserk related things, like getting the brand of sacrifice tattooed on them, which I would never do personally, because in the series, it's supposed to summon demons, but that's probably the inner preacher in me tweaking out over it. I don't actually care if other people do it. And finally, the last character in the honorable mentions is Zoro. I was really debating putting Zoro in here, because he does have a lot of glazers, but the Zoro fans are much more fierce and numerous than the Shanks fans, and I've already revealed that Sanji is my favorite of the two, so it probably wouldn't end well for me. So I guess all I say about Zoro is that he's a cool character, just has a lot of glazers.
That don't work. There's no way out of this one. You're done.
Nah, y'all are crazy if you actually thought I wasn't putting this man in the video. Luffy glaze makes sense because he's the MC, but this man Zoro be getting so much gawk from his fans, it's not even funny. Now, I think we all understand the appeal to Zoro. He's a really cool character and the vice captain of the Straw Hats, and he's consistently shown his loyalty to Luffy and the crew time after time. Plus, his fighting style is extremely unique because he uses 3 swords to fight people, and when he's getting serious, he puts on a bandana, which is honestly really cold. But y'all be glazing this man like he's the captain himself. Hint, hint. And what I mean by this is Zoro's inflated strength in the eyes of some of his fans. It's like YT Shanks again, but worse because it's not justified. Like, people really think that this man is an admiral level fighter or stronger. Like, how do we believe that Zoro is stronger than Kizaru? I don't care what we've seen in the manga.
Zoro technically is an admiral level fighter. He was able to keep up with Fujitora, so if Fujitora is an admiral, he may be not one of the strongest admirals, but he is an admiral. And I know Fujitora wasn't going all out yet, but still, he was able to hang with Fujitora, and that was in Dressrosa. So like, come on, dog. And Zoro's a lot stronger now. I'm just saying. He was trolling with Lucci, but for no reason. Why is Oda writing him like that? Oh yeah, I don't know. Zoro's my favorite One Piece character, so like, I can't say nothing. Niggas do be glazing Zoro. I'm one of the people that be glazing Zoro though. I watch One Piece for Zoro. Like, I read One Piece for Zoro. I never been that big of a fan of Luffy, if I'm being honest. His character just really don't do nothing for me. But Zoro is really like why I was watching One Piece. Even like from episode 2, when we first see this nigga Zoro, I've been locked on to him this whole time. He's the only reason. I'm here for his story. I want to see him become the greatest swordsman. That's what I'm here for. I don't give a damn about the Pirate King. I'm here for the goddamn greatest swordsman. That whole storyline is way better. No cap.
He's getting speed blitzed and beat by Kizaru 10 times out of 10. And don't tell me that I'm being crazy. You Zoro fans brought this upon yourselves because the Zoro glaze doesn't even stop there. Remember ZKK, which was a theory going on during the Wano arc run in the manga? Out of all the theories and agendas in One Piece, this one actually had some people in a chokehold. Essentially, ZKK stands for Zoro kills Kaido, and people really thought this was finna happen. All of the delusion from the Zoro fans was culminating, and what did they get? Zoro pulled out his strongest move at the time, Ashura, against Kaido, and left him with a chest wound that Kaido kinda just walked off anyways. Did the Zoro fans really believe that Luffy wasn't gonna beat Kaido in the end? It only makes sense for the captain of the crew to defeat the Yonko, and that leads me to my next point for the Zoro glazers. There are a certain subgroup of people that believe that Zoro and Luffy are equal in strength. Yet again, I don't know what series you guys have read and or watched, but there is no way we are.
They used to be equal, but not anymore. Luffy's a lot stronger now. Luffy's a lot stronger now, so yeah. They used to be equals though. We're not finna sit here and cap like they were far apart in strength, but they not anymore though.
Saying Zoro is the same strength as Luffy. I don't care about them both having Conqueror's coding or whatever other gymnastics the Zoro fans want to go through. Zoro is closer to Sanji than he is to Luffy, easily. Which brings me to an elephant in the room. Zoro glazers versus Sanji glazers. Despite all the slander Sanji fans go through, they are more reasonable when it comes to talking about strength than Zoro fans. Zoro glazers for some reason will always hate to admit that Sanji and Zoro are almost equals in strength, which is crazy considering that one is only seen cooking and simping and the other one is actually training. I don't care which one you like more, but these guys are basically the rivals of the crew. Yet the Zoro glaze has allowed some of y'all to act like there's some massive gap between him and Sanji. And while we're still in One Piece, it's only natural that we talk about Zoro's master as well, Dracula Mihawk. After the last video, it has come to my attention that I might have come off as a Mihawk glazer, which is probably more true than it is false. You know, it's my fault that I took Oda's word when he stated that Mihawk is the strongest swordsman in the world, which also roughly translates to the strongest person in the world who uses a sword. And you know, we've seen someone like Shanks use a sword as his primary weapon, which makes him a swordsman. But I guess I was getting too hasty. And I also like to try to be impartial, so let's talk about it. First off, as we all know, Mihawk is the strongest swordsman in One Piece and a character shrouded with mystery. When we talk about characters with self-interest, Mihawk is one of the prime examples of that. He acts of his own accord and he just spends most of his time in the series chilling. He's kind of like the max player in the game who just looks for achievements. Now the Mihawk glaze and the Shanks glaze are almost comparable in magnitude. One fan base uses Walmart Roger comparisons and heights, while the other clings to a single title that could potentially cause their favorite character to look like a fraud in the end. For example, why on earth is the world's strongest swordsman in the East Blue chasing Dawn Creek and bullying pre-Alabasta Straw Hats? We should also talk about his performance during Marine Ford. This man Vista was giving Mihawk the fight of his lifetime. He made Mihawk sweat so much that he had to run away. Then we can't forget the fact that this guy was getting his slashes blocked by Jozu, Crocodile, and freaking Das Bones. We might actually need Alabasta Zoro to teach this man a thing or two. And
Add of death. Chainsaw
he got an iceberg, I guess. To top it all off, he ran away from the right-hand bandit himself because he didn't agree to fight Shanks. And that's all this man has really done in the series. Mihawk glazers will also cling to the fact that he has a black blade, which is definitely something special, but we don't even know how this man got it. For all we know, the memes are true and he just painted the blade. But there are some people who are still saying that this man is top one in the verse, despite the fact that this man has only shown us to be an East Blue merchant who only relies on sword skill and not his strength. The Mihawk fans are—
Mihawk is definitely not top one in the verse. Hell no. Mihawk is top 10. Definitely top 10. He's definitely top 10, but like top 1 is crazy. Top 1 is crazy. Mihawk is top 10 though. Maybe a little stronger, but who knows? Who knows?
Are really putting all their hopes and dreams into this last arc.
We can't really gauge niggas' strength until we see more feats, honestly. Mihawk have not really done anything. Just like how this dude is saying, Mihawk hasn't really done anything like that. For real, for real. Same with Shanks, honestly. Shanks really hasn't done anything.
Because Mihawk needs to perform. Now, we can only hope that this segment satisfies the Shanks fans so they can finally stop yapping about Mr. Pre-Devil Fruit Blackbeard victim and release me from my shackles. Okay, so next up we have Itachi's prototype, better known as Shisui Uchiha. Now this guy has an interesting fan base because Shisui barely has any screen time. Like, you need to go through a bunch of different mediums to learn about this character, like the novels, anime, filler, quote unquote, and even the Ninja Storm games. Like every other character in Naruto and Shippuden, Shisui grew up in the war periods of Naruto and often saw his allies getting murked. Eventually, Itachi would become his best friend, and the two would play integral roles in trying.
You know, Shisui deserves the glaze too. He deserves the glaze to a point though, cause when you think about it, Shisui is definitely probably, he had the most potential as an Uchiha, if we want to be honest with you. He unlocked his Mangekyo at the youngest age. He had his Sharingan at the youngest age, I'm pretty sure. He was already fighting grown men when he was super young. He was in a war. Even before Itachi was out there. He was in a war before Itachi was out there. So it's like, he kind of deserves it. Then he has the most broken Mangekyo Sharingan ability with Koro Matsukami. Like, it's more broken than Tsukuyomi. And if he would have had a full Susanoo, who knows what his Susanoo abilities would have had. Yeah. So I understand the Shisui glaze, but like, is this based off potential? Shisui had a lot of potential, so if he would have gotten older, but he probably would have eventually just went blind anyway, because he wouldn't have got another Sharingan. Because Itachi wouldn't have gave him his, so like, who knows.
Trying to prevent the Uchiha revolt. However, some stuff happened which led to Shisui having to delete his own character build and give his eye to Itachi. His name also gets name dropped a lot throughout the series, so this character does have an impact on the story. So unlike Itachi, who was in the story long enough to build up a reasonable number of glazers, Shisui just has a bunch of glazers just because. No problem with liking the character, but glazing and overhyping him is wild. It's either because he's an Uchiha or those eyes have deceived a bunch of y'all into glazing him.
It's not just because it's based off potential. He has the glazers because it's his potential to be so strong. That's why he has glazers. It's not based off nothing.
Shisui's Mangekyo Sharingan ability is something called Kodo Amatsukami, which is an extremely strong genjutsu that can basically allow the user to control someone's mind to an extent. Small caveat here, but
not an extent. He can control somebody's mind to whatever extent that he wants. Like, he can literally do whatever, and they wouldn't even know they're under a genjutsu. Like, they won't even know they're being controlled. Like, come on.
You can only use the jutsu every 10 years or once every day if you have Hashirama cells. But Shisui fans hype this jutsu up so much and will try to convince you that he's beating pain or something. It's like the Itachi fans with Totsuka Blade yapping, but worse, cause Shisui's actually just seen as a jonin in the series, albeit a very talented one. These fans will also try to talk about Shisui Susanoo, which does exist in the games and filler, which then has people talking about the validity of those forms of media. But one thing we can all agree on is that Shisui does not have a perfect Susanoo. If he was running around with the perfect Susanoo, he'd be the strongest Uchiha member at the time. He also wouldn't have had Danzo run his pockets if he had this massive drill sword too. Again, there's no problem with liking.
And that was for the plot. For the plot. Like, that whole thing was for the plot, honestly, because Shisui would not have lost that. But they had him running away. They let this man Shisui get poisoned. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Shisui the teleporter getting poisoned. It don't make sense, do it. Nigga can basically teleport, but he got his eye took. Alright.
But don't come to me saying that you think he could beat Minato or anything like that, because at that point I know not to take you seriously. If you're enjoying the video so far and you're new, you might as well subscribe. We're mad close to 40k and I'd really appreciate the subscription. Hunter himself. And apparently I low-key was building up some type of streak of Toji slander in my videos, which is honestly a bit surprising. Anyways, Toji Fushiguro is a character that has a bit more depth than meets the eyes. On the outside he's an Aki guy with a bunch of weapons that just goes out and beats the brakes off of people. However, on the inside we see someone who's been affected by the nonsense of the Zenin clan due to him having a heavenly restriction, eliminating all of his cursed energy. As we've already seen with Maki, lacking strong cursed techniques or lacking cursed energy altogether is a blight for this family, and it often leads to people being alienated. Toji was one of those who were alienated and eventually left the Zenin clan, marrying Megami's mom and seemingly finding some sort of happiness. But this is where we run into some problems with the Toji glazers. As I've mentioned in the past, the JJK fandom is very creative, and there have been many fan-made one-shot mangas about Toji, which is fine as long as we know that they are fan-made and not canon. However, there are a good amount of Toji Toji Glazers try to act like these fan-made works are canon and try to talk about random events that never actually happened. Like, no, we did not see the backstory of Toji and the Zenin clan. And then there are the wholesome fan arts showing the lives of Toji and Megumi's mom, and the Toji Glazers will try to delude themselves and everyone around them that this is who Toji was in the series. In reality, this guy was a deadbeat dad who was making ends meet by taking jobs to take out high school kids. High school kids that he needs prep time to take out. Toji fans.
Yeah, I never seen none of that those little made up story stuff about Toji, but I always like from my best friend is literally a Toji Glazer, so like Toji's like his favorite character in the whole series, and he pretty much thinks Toji can beat anybody. I don't know why. I have no clue why he thinks Toji can beat anybody. Toji is cold, but like he not like that. I understand though, I get it. But yeah, I'm not too big on Toji either. Like, he's not one of my favorite characters.
Fans always talk about him catching a pre-awakened Teen Gojo lacking and essentially murking him. This fight is like the holy grail to them, but then they somehow always forget how Gojo spun back after learning RCT and was breaking this man's back end with red and turned him into the Apple logo with purple. His Gojo fight and the one against Dagon somehow brings Toji to 15-finger Sukuna level, which is an actual debate that Toji fans always bring up. And the anime didn't make this any better with how many times Toji was seen teleporting around. Now people legitimately think that this guy's a top 3 level fighter in the series when he's still just a Yuta victim. No amount of prep time is helping him against Rika or anything. And spoilers for the manga here, so skip here to avoid them. But they'll also yap about Maki being weaker than Toji when it has been stated multiple times that they are equal in strength after Maki got her awakening. Which means that Maki's the only one who's been carrying Toji's power level in the series. If anything, Maki is stronger than Toji at this point, but she has probably gotten stronger since this point of the story. The Toji Glazers need to stop with these agendas because they're getting crazier by the day. They are probably even worse than the Gojo Glazers, which brings us to our next character, Satoru Gojo. I low-key want to keep this part short because I'll sound like a broken record. We all know that Gojo Glazers come in all sorts of fashions.
Gojo Glazers, they make sense because Gege is a Gojo Glazer. That's the whole point. The whole point of the story is to glaze Gojo at this point.
Whether it be because of his strength, how he looks, or even his influence on New Gen as a whole. Despite what many may say, Gojo is a well-written character and his abilities coincide with some of the struggles he has as the strongest. Infinity is an ability that creates an unreachable distance between Gojo and anyone or thing he doesn't want to pass that barrier. This is similar to how since Gojo is the strongest, he can never really have a strong connection between himself and others. That's why Gojo can come off as cold at times. But we all know that half the time the Gojo Glazers are not thinking about that. They are typically in the comments talking about how Gojo solo someone's favorite verse because of Infinity, which is probably one of the main reasons a lot of people hate talking about Gojo. To bypass Infinity, which is an infinite space, you need infinite speed or some type of hacks that help you touch Gojo. Now I can only imagine that this variability has caused many broken keyboards and raging from some people because not a lot of our favorite characters can get by it. For example, if you can argue it well, keywords being argue it well, you can even claim that Gojo can beat Goku, which is an extremely controversial statement. Not even the author can deal with this ability effectively and has to do stuff like sealing Gojo to keep him out of the plot. It's things like these that explain why Gojo's top hater is the author himself. In about 10 or so years, Gojo's gonna be like the Itachi of New Gen, a character that is glazed to no end. He's probably the most popular character right now outside of obvious characters like Goku or Naruto. We've all seen it before and I don't expect it to die down anytime soon. People will worship their blue-eyed king no matter what happens in the series. Heck, even a narrator will glaze Gojo when talking about someone else's abilities. Like, how on earth are we explaining Nobito's ability and somehow bring up Gojo in? This man just always finds a way into anything. So next up we have Saitama. Now the next two characters,
bro, One Punch Man, oh my gosh, he is definitely very glazed, but he's a gag character to a point. He's a gag character, but he's also not a gag character at the same time. But I don't know, man, I don't like One Punch Man. I've been trying to watch it for the longest. I've been trying to watch, bro. I've retried to watch it 3 times, bro. It's just, I don't know. It just don't interest me enough. One of these days, I'm gonna just force myself to watch it. I just got to, bro. I gotta force myself to watch it, bro. It's the only way.
more so the last bum we're talking about, have come to prominence mainly due to Goku and his fans. Saitama is a character that some call a gag character in the sense that he's kind of just able to win any fight and surpass any limits if the plot needs it. And it's even further compounded with how Saitama got such absurd strength despite having a fairly simple workout routine. It almost gets to Toon Force levels of strength, and his nonchalant demeanor makes it pretty funny at times. But the Toon Force like strength is what gets people in a chokehold, because people quite literally believe that Saitama can beat anyone. And I'm not even joking. Any fight that he's in, the average Saitama Saitama Glazer will say that he can defeat the opponent in one punch because he's the One Punch Man. Saitama can also do anything in the eyes of a Saitama Glazer because he's been shown to just do a lot of things just because he can. Yes guys, Saitama is boundless and has no limits to anything. Shoot, even though we've never seen this man do elemental bending, he could probably bend all 4 of them and secretly be the Avatar. But we can't be too hard on Saitama fans because they don't know any better. If their MC has been shown to do crazy stuff, we are obligated to let them delude themselves into believing that they can do anything in the entire world, and that includes allowing them to think that he could be Goku. Which brings us to our last character in the video, Anos Voldigold. Now, some of y'all may not know about this guy. Some may have only heard of his name and not his show. And to the 5 people who actually watched Misfit of Demon Academy, you probably know him very well. Anos is the prototypical overpowered MC, but this guy's a special case in the fact that his strength is so absurd in the series. Like, I'm talking about beating people with a heartbeat or blinking at someone and taking them out. And there's a whole other laundry list of abilities like teleportation, time stop resistance, resurrection, etc. And I know all these overpowered abilities got the power scalers hyped up. From what I've seen, a lot of the events that happen in this series is that some random is crazy disrespectful to Anos and then he just violates them. But you know, besides having repetitive plot points, there's another problem I have with this character. It's the fact that the only reason why people glaze this character, or heck, even know about this character, is because of Goku. Essentially, a bunch of people were tired of the "but can he be Goku though" jokes, and people decided to search far and wide to find characters that could even hope to be Goku. Anos is one of these characters, and I guarantee you, half of these people who even read his series were just pressed by Goku glazers. Can you imagine that? You aren't ever finding someone breaking down his character because no one cares about it. Anos and his glazers are the only groups in anime that have actually gained clout off another character's existence. Shoot, the first time I ever heard of this character was because someone mentioned Goku. This guy could be replaced by anyone and no one would blink twice because the only value in
the only time I see Anos is whenever they're like comparing him between him and Rimuru. That's the only time I ever see Anos for
his character's existence is that he has the capabilities to beat Goku or other strong characters. Anos glazers are the first fandom I've ever seen in quantum superposition. They both exist and don't exist at the same time, and once you mention Goku, they spring up alive into action. Once you say that he's stronger than Goku, they're gone. It's incredible, and I don't care about how many non-existent Anos glazers there are in the comment section. I just had to tell the truth about this character. Now, hopefully I was able to tie up all the loose ends in this video because it was a longer video than usual. I know some of y'all want a longer video, so hopefully this helped with that.
W video. There's a lot more glazed characters though. No cap. There's a lot of glazed characters, bro. What the comments are going? Any that he missed? Toji. What they said? Toji. Who else they got in here? Rob Lucci? Nah. Lucci's not glazed. Come on now. Ain't nobody putting new characters in here. When he said Guts, I immediately thought, alright, who's gonna drink me? What is he talking about? Guts is Lego, so yeah. Oh, I see. There's a community called Berserk. Berserk is the GOAT though. Like, that's the greatest manga of all time. I don't care what no one says. Nah, they ain't really putting no new people in here. I'm surprised. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the reaction, man. If you enjoyed, leave a like if you agree with some of the takes. Let me know in the comments, man, if you agree with some of the takes. If you agree with me, let me know, man. Comment down below. Like this video up and sub to the gang, man. Talk the gang. So yeah, I'm out. Talk the gang. We gone.